Have you ever sat there staring at a blank screen, maybe scrolling aimlessly on your phone, and just hated yourself? Hated yourself for not having the willpower, the discipline, the basic human ability to just start? I have. For years, that was my reality. A constant hum of self loathing fueled by one devastating word: lazy. That word felt like my identity. The voice in my head was relentless. Look at everyone else. They're getting things done. What is wrong with you? Why are you so fundamentally lazy? And the more I believed it, the less I could do. It was a vicious, paralyzing cycle. Today, I'm going to share the revelation that shattered that cycle for me. Because the moment I discovered that I wasn't actually lazy, that the concept I'd built my self-worth on was a lie, it felt like being freed from a prison built from shame and misunderstanding. This isn't about hacking productivity. This is about understanding the surprising truth behind what we call laziness and how that understanding can unlock potential. I was 26, sitting across from my boss. "You have so much potential," he said. My heart lifted. "But you just seem lazy." The air left my lungs. Lazy. I nodded, mumbled something about trying harder, and went back to my desk. And there I sat, paralyzed for the next hour. The irony was clear. Being called lazy had made me even less productive. Labeling ourselves as lazy isn't just inaccurate, it's destructive. When you tell yourself, "I'm just lazy," it places the problem on your character, something fixed, unchangeable. It tells you this is just how you are, killing hope and stopping you from looking for solutions. For me, the lazy label became a self-fulfilling prophecy, a heavy blanket making movement impossible. But what if that blanket was an illusion? I started reading, desperate to understand. That's when I stumbled upon a concept that felt like a lightning bolt. I learned that what we commonly understand as laziness doesn't actually exist as a primary driver. It's a concept born from judgment, not understanding. Researchers like social psychologist Dr. Devin Price have explored this. Their core idea: people do not choose to fail or disappoint. No one wants to feel incapable. If you see only laziness, you're missing crucial details beneath the surface. This wasn't just academic, it was personal. It meant my years of struggle weren't proof of a broken character. They were proof I was experiencing underlying challenges being mislabeled. Once I accepted this, that my inaction wasn't a moral failing but a symptom, the world cracked open. The problem wasn't me, it was something I was experiencing, something I could address. But what were these underlying factors? What was really happening beneath my supposed laziness? Discovering this was life-changing. Let me take you back to my old apartment in 2018. Dirty dishes, unfinished projects, and me scrolling endlessly on the couch instead of working on a deadline. Classic lazy behavior, right? But beneath that surface was a tangled mess. I only began to untangle it when I reached my breaking point and sought help from a therapist specializing in productivity. In those sessions, I uncovered the hidden barriers. Barrier number one: fear, the invisible paralysis. "What happens when you try to start a project?" my therapist asked. I described the pattern: initial excitement, then overwhelm, anxiety, paralysis. "What are you afraid will happen if you start?" she asked gently. The question stopped me cold. Fear? I thought I lacked motivation. But as she held the space, the answers surfaced. I was afraid of doing it wrong, afraid of realizing I wasn't talented, afraid of putting in effort only to produce something mediocre. Fear of failure is a common driver of what looks like laziness. When terrified of failing, our brain protects us by preventing action. The easiest way to never fail is to never try. Inaction becomes a warped self-preservation. Research by clinical psychologist Dr. Ellen Hendrickson perfectly described my experience. Procrastination isn't laziness, it's a misguided emotional regulation strategy. We put off tasks because they trigger uncomfortable feelings: anxiety, frustration, doubt. Avoiding the task gives temporary relief. This was me. I wasn't avoiding work because I was lazy. I was avoiding the uncomfortable feelings work brought up. Managing emotions is a skill I could learn. Being lazy felt permanent. Barrier number two: perfectionism, the silent productivity killer. "Sometimes I work for 14 hours straight, obsessing over details," I told my therapist. "How can I be both lazy and a perfectionist?" Her answer felt like unlocking another door. Perfectionism and what looks like laziness are often two sides of the same coin. This made painful sense. When I did start, I set impossible standards. Hours agonizing over tiny details left me drained. Faced with starting another project, my system rebelled. The thought of that level of agony was overwhelming, so I'd avoid starting. It looked like laziness, but was a reaction to my own perfectionism. Studies confirm this. Research shows a strong link between perfectionism and procrastination. If your internal rule is everything must be flawless, starting anything feels terrifying. Barrier number 3, decision fatigue and mental overload. Another piece fell into place when I noticed the timing of my lazy days. Productivity plummeted after days filled with decisions, stress, or difficult emotions. I learned about decision fatigue, backed by neuroscience. Our brains use energy for choices. Every decision taps into a finite daily reservoir. When depleted, our brains default to inaction. It made sense. My brain wasn't lazy. It was out of energy for complex effort after a busy day. Highly productive people like Mark Zuckerberg or Barack Obama consciously reduce decision fatigue by simplifying choices. They understand willpower is a finite resource that needs managing. What I had interpreted as a moral failing was often just a depleted mental battery. My brain signaled, I can't make more complex choices right now. But I heard, you're too lazy. The solution wasn't more shame, it was recognizing depletion and managing energy. The moment everything shifted wasn't dramatic. It was the gradual realization I wasn't fighting laziness. I was fighting fear, perfectionism, and mental fatigue. And those were opponents I could understand and address. Reframing, asking different questions. I started changing the script. Instead of, why am I so lazy? I'd pause and ask different questions. What am I afraid might happen if I do this task? Am I setting an impossibly high standard here? Where is my mental energy right now? Do I need a break, or can I simplify this task? What emotion is coming up as I think about starting this? These questions were about curiosity and diagnosis. They led to solutions instead of self-blame. If fear was the obstacle, I broke tasks down. If perfectionism, I set time limits. If fatigue, I rested or rescheduled. The change wasn't instant, but it was profound. I built a new relationship with productivity based on understanding and compassion, not judgment. The compassion breakthrough. Treating myself with kindness was transformative. If a friend felt stuck, I wouldn't call them lazy. I'd ask questions, offer support. Why not offer myself the same? I discovered Dr. Toxidovist Kristen Neff's work on self-compassion. Her research shows it's not letting yourself off the hook. It's a powerful motivator. Shame paralyzes, compassion empowers. I practice self-compassion deliberately. In a slump, instead of I'm useless, I'd interrupt the thought. Okay, this is a struggle. What do I need right now? Sometimes the answer was rest. Sometimes break down the task. Sometimes address the fear. This practice changed my ability to respond constructively. The result wasn't just better productivity. It was liberation from shame. I wasn't cured of challenges, but I was no longer at war with myself. A new paradigm, beyond productivity. Looking back, the greatest gift is perspective. Productivity isn't a measure of our worth. Periods that look unproductive might be crucial for rest or processing. Procrastination and avoidance aren't character flaws. They're messages. When you feel stuck, get curious. Ask, what is this stuckness telling me? Does this task align with my values? Do I need more information or support? Does my nervous system need rest? Am I afraid of something? These questions lead to growth. The lazy label leads only to shame. The way forward, your next steps. If you've believed you are lazy, you can put that burden down now. It was never yours. It was a lie, a misunderstanding. Instead of fighting a phantom enemy, get curious. Approach inaction with a detective's mindset. Start noticing patterns. When do you feel stuck? What thoughts and emotions come up? What standards are you setting? How much mental energy have you used? This curiosity, looking deeper than the lazy label, is the first crucial step toward genuine change. It won't happen overnight. There will be challenging days. But with each moment of awareness, each time you choose curiosity over condemnation, you build a new relationship with yourself, your work, and your capacity for action. And isn't that journey of understanding, compassion, and liberation worth more than forcing yourself through one more task? You are not lazy. You never were. You are a complex human navigating a complicated world with limited resources, facing real fears and hurdles. The moment you truly internalize that truth, reject the lazy label, is when your real journey begins. Let's begin it together, right now. If this message resonated, let me know in the comments. What's one question you'll ask instead of, why am I lazy? If you found this helpful, give it a like. It helps others. And subscribe for more insights. Thank you for watching.